Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. I am Cody. He is Andy. It is the 3rd of December, 2025, just about quarter to 12 Eastern Time, quarter to 11 Central Time. How you doing today?
If I was any better, I'd be you. How about that? How about that?
You know,
with that beard?
Today, I don't know if that one triggers today, but
all right, fair enough.
Appreciate it.
That beard's going to help you in a few days. It's going to be like 0. Like
The
it's
cold
gonna
weather's
be,
coming in.
It's going to be chilly. Might want to put a hat on that head though. I mean, I heard hot air gets out of your head or escapes your head or whatever it is.
I got a cap for swimming for our Ironman.
Did you sign up?
Signed up. We're going. Wisconsin, September 12th. We'll be there.
You got a cap? You got goggles?
I got goggles. Got 2 pair.
2 pair. Wow.
Yep.
I remember
There's no time frame. It was like the general. So I guess we're running general.
Sure. Just like, we're crossing the finish line. Let's just start there.
I love it.
I remember the first race I ever did. My goggles broke as I was seeding into the water. So they seed you and then you walk out. And like I had like 30 seconds to figure out a fix because I like tightened them too much and they snapped. So it's good to have a second pair. You're already thinking ahead. You're already solving problems.
I've been swimming for a week, so let's get her going.
You got to have, what's that called? A solutions-based mindset is what I've been told.
There you go.
So, all right, let's take that mindset and let's talk some charts here, shall we? Like,
let's do it.
You're the block whisperer. You're like the butter block whisperer. You got cash like dialed in. Like Cody's got it just dialed.
I feel it.
Feel it. Where are we going here? We got 143.5 last block. This is so today's Wednesday, isn't it? All day. So we haven't had cash yet.
All day.
So this is as of Tuesday's settle. What do we got here?
Where are we going? So give me a time frame by December 30th.
Let's say end of the year. End of the year. Sure.
End of the year, $1.25.
Good night.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's close enough. There we go. It's as close as I'm going to be able to get it. So 125.
$1.25 block.
By end of the year. You know what's funny is that Christmas is on the 25th. So by Christmas, we'll be 25G. Like, Merry Christmas. How about that?
Exactly.
We got to drag this thing pretty far to see when the last time we were there. So this would have been week ending May 8th. Oh gosh, the May expiration for 2020. I remember that. That was when Food Box took off. Everybody was short, and then we did this. Like, boop. I remember that one. Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing that sticks out to me is like the futures have finally built in a premium to cash. For a while, they were discount, and telling us the cash was going down, right? And so, I mean, 125. Hey, why not? I mean, I don't really like when you look at the chart. There's not a whole heck of a lot other than this like call it like 140 area where we had this big W that took place at the beginning of 2024, right? And so you got to get through that. But once you get through that, I mean, it could just be like when we finally broke through 160, where it's like you finally got through 160 and it's like boop, pretty quickly. So
sort of feels like.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if we got some consolidation around 140. It's a nice number for people to own. It's not that far away, right? And the futures are saying out forward, your cheese is going to be worth more anyways. So, and not too far in the distance, like Jan is even saying it's going to be worth like 149. So I wouldn't be surprised if you start to see some buying, but you got to get like, if you crack through that number, then yeah, I mean, like, I guess the next stop would be, I don't know if I'm on board with the 125, but like this becomes a magnet, 130 and change. We'll see. I don't know if I'm on board with 125, but you are like the savant right now. You are like, you've got it dialed in. Like you just dialed, like, so we're not going to fade you on this one. Fade at your own risk, I guess, at this point, right?
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess I already know that you want to sell Jan then.
Yes.
Okay. Just look at Jan class 3 because it's the next pricing month. We're still pricing December, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right.
We've got Jan coming in hot here. It is traded in a premium, not a huge premium, right? I mean, I think it depends on like, how much NAS like premiums you want to bake in, right? So, but it is trading at a slight premium here. You want to be a seller of rallies. There's plenty of, call it like, there's this one, there's this other longer term one that we had. Actually, let me get rid of this one for a second. Let me just take a step back. There we go. There's this guy, right? That one's a nice long-term one. I think you could argue too that once it finally broke here, it really started to accelerate. So you're kind of through that. Yeah, not really. So yeah, we've seen a ton of volume here though recently, right? In Jan, and it's been almost entirely, not entirely, but almost entirely on like the Dece Jan roll. And it's my understanding that I was out last week, so I don't know, but it's my understanding that it was talking to people, it was buying the Dece and selling the Jan. Was kind of like the aggressor of the roll, so to speak, the initiator of the trade. Open interest keeps building in Jan, so that's all new selling. It's also new buying too. So I bring that up because volume. It's always like you always want to be mindful of areas. I'm just going to mark that real fast. Of big volume. Volume is also a piece of technical analysis. Right, you forget that like volume, open interest are also parts of that study. And so we're seeing open interest build, huge volume, and it's doing it, and it's starting to kind of putter around this 15.25 price point. So when we start to move away from that, you're really like that kind of like amplifies that price action.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be a seller. Where do you think Jan's going?
I think you can sell it here and right before cash for about 7 minutes before cash. And probably get out at 14.20.
All right. Man.
Not to say that we can't go lower than that, but you don't want to get
you want to take $1 out of this thing is basically what you're saying.
I do believe there's probably $1 to get taken out of Jan because I think they're going to try to push the block to $1.40 by Friday, 2 days from now. I think we're going to see some pretty nasty numbers posted in January class 3.
Possible. I mean, the trend has certainly been the case. Right. And so you don't want to fade that. I think we have to be really mindful of like this area right here because the volume and open interest,
but
huge volume, big build and open interest. You just can't ignore that. So to your point, like if
to me, it feels like we're doing the same thing that we did at $16 where we fell apart for 2 days, hit around $16, dropped down to $15.25. I feel like we're doing the same thing where we're kind of stair stepping our way down. And it feels like we have another 1 to 2 stair steps on the way to the basement here.
On the way to the basement. I love the way you said that. On the way to the basement. You're down in the basement. Yeah, $15 milk isn't in the basement yet. All right.
Not quite yet.
Hey, I'm not going to fade. Like I said, I'm not going to fade you. You've had this thing dialed in. And so I think it's, like I said, if we do start to roll over too, and you break through, what price is this? This lowest call is $15. Like, this, like, I think it would accelerate in a hurry because of, again, all the volume that we've seen, right? Like you chewed through a lot of buying. We've seen a lot of new buying and selling. The volume, again, I know it's been a lot of that roll, but still, like, they've managed to get filled. So, and it's been new open interest. So yeah, just something to be mindful of. If we move away from this price point, it will be aggressive in my opinion, either way. But you've got us heading to the basement, Cody's basement.
Going that.
Cody's basement. All right, this one came at request. I know we're running low on time. This one came at request internally from Zach Attack. He asked for feeders. We're giving it to him. This is March.
Our good buddy
Zach. This is March feeders.
It's March feeders.
All right. Where you got all this markets dialed in. I'm not like where are we going?
You want to know?
Yeah, that's our fans want to know. Everybody wants to know.
400 in March feeders.
Hang on.
We're going the opposite way of milk here. The reason I say that is I put it in our group chat last week and people made fun of me, right? Just, you couldn't happen. It's not no way. We broke out. There you go. I was just going to draw. You broke out of the downtrend, accelerated itself the past couple days. And even today, I think we were down $3 this morning and the bull said, hold on, not yet.
I mean, hey, like I said, you've got these things dialed in. Like I don't know if I'd call this a W. I don't think you can. right? But there are certainly, this is already filled. 1, 2, 3 gaps basically. So 1, 2, 3 little gappers, but unfinished business. I mean, you're certainly, what I thought was really interesting about this was that so if you look at these 2 days, it's kind of hard to tell because this was Friday and this was Monday. But if you look, Friday we broke, put in a low of $299.30 and settled $7 off the lows. Huge day. I mean, just a big rejection of the lows. And then that news about Tyson came out on, I think, Friday night or something like that. And then bam, like limit offer right on the open. So you just see this little dash because we just went right to limit. And it doesn't look like a big move because this candle it began at $299.30, and this one settled at $297.80. So it doesn't look like this is a massive move just right here. It's a limit move. But what's interesting is that the market rejected it really well. Just said, I don't think so. Tried to even break through here and just said, nope, next day. And since then just took off. So I think that's super interesting that you had this big news piece in a market that has been very headline based, Trump's tweets, Mexico border opening, close, Argentina, all this stuff, right? You've got all these headlines that are coming out, and then you have the Tyson news, and the market just, I don't think so, just soundly rejected it. Price action's price action.
Right.
The weekly is kind of a mess. I mean, to me, that's just a mess. I don't really know what to make of that. If you look at it on a monthly basis, that to me, what sticks out to me is that you still have a lot of time this month, but you have a big rejection of last month's low. So to your point, like the ability, I think the surprise here would be is if this market goes, and at the very least goes and tests like this candle right here. Big rejection off the high here, big rejection off the low the next month.
Yeah. And I've been leery of your gap, at 380 on the daily, because that was a one that we had talked about last time that should not be filled or might not be filled, which is very possible. It just feels like something's going on here in the cattle industry where, I think Zach said it the other day, limit moves are just another day in cattle.
Yeah, right.
Like higher or lower, like limit moves are another.
It's just a fact of life.
Another day in the cattle.
It's a fact of life in cattle. Yeah. What's so interesting is that from here to here is basically the same distance, pretty close from here to here. Right. It's just, you got to really be mindful of like the preceding closes and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you, man. Like big downtrend that had a lot of news that was baked into it, right? Especially the beginning right here. And since then you had that other news piece, and, I always butcher this, but Dreyer always used to say, like, if futures react in a positive way to really bearish news, that's really bullish, Right. So to me, it's like, that's what sticks out to me about this chart is that you had this big limit, just nasty day off of the news that since got soundly rejected. And now you're out of that downtrend. $400. Let's go. So 125 cheese, $400 feeders. Just what's here in that spread? Let's buy feeders, sell cheese.
Right. There you go.
All right. That's all I got.
Cool. All right. Well, Zach, appreciate you asking. I think that was the only chart that we had a question on, or somebody had emailed or called us in about. So appreciate that one.
Yeah,
Andy and I will be back with you guys next week on another episode of Tech Talk. If you have any requests, please let us know. Shoot us an email, give us a phone call. Until then, have a great rest of this week and even better weekend. We'll see you next time.